Merry Christmas, people. I hope you had a good one. I certainly did. And now that Christmas is over, I've gone back to trying to fix this paperweight bike that I've got here. So I spoke to some relatives over Christmas, and one of them told me to try testing for a spark by putting a piece of tin foil into the HT lead cap or something to that effect, touch it on the chassis, turn the motor over and see if I get a spark. Well, I didn't have any tin foil, so what I did was I got a bit of wire, this wire here, and what I've done is I pushed it, I've stripped an end of it, well I've stripped both ends of it, pushed an end into the cap, taped it on with insulating tape as you can see, so that's like the number one spark plug cap there. Okay, so what I did was then, and I can't really show you here because I'm holding the camera, so anyway, what I did was turn the engine over on the button and tried touching, well, kind of holding this wire up close to the chassis and touching it on and off a little bit. I didn't get any spark, so I tried it on the engine bolt here just in case the chassis is kind of like painted at that point or whatever, I don't know, but worth trying a couple of places anyway, I thought. So what I did was I tried it on this engine mounting bolt here, because that clearly is bare steel or aluminium bolt. So I was turning the engine over and I was kind of touching it on and off like that, and there was no sign of any spark at all. No, just nothing. Not white, not blue, nothing. No spark whatsoever. And that was with kind of like holding the starter button on, like turning the engine over and over and over, and kind of trying to get a spark off the chassis, but it's not giving me anything. So it looks like the ignition is not working. So it looks like it's an ignition problem. So I need to try and figure out which part of the ignition is not working. These coil packs and the HT leads, again I put something about these in a previous video. I have had them tested. Now obviously it can't be the spark plug that's the problem, because there's no spark plug in the end of the cap, the wire just goes straight into the cap. So I know that it's not the spark plugs or the caps or the leads or the coils that are faulty. Okay, so it has to be something between, well, what that tells me is that I'm not getting any juice actually to the coils themselves. So the problem is either in my wiring or the CDI or the pulse generator. Now I've replaced the pulse generator. Admittedly the second pulse generator was also second hand, so it's two second hand pulse generators, so it's possible both could be faulty, but I think that's probably unlikely. The second one that I bought did come from a running bike. This engine also came from a running bike, and the previous pulse generator was included with the engine, so I think it's probably not the pulse generator at this stage. At one stage I was fairly confident it was, but at this stage I don't think it is. It could be my wiring. It could be, you know, that I'm basically not getting a good connection either at the CDI end, possibly at the coils end. I think it's unlikely to be at the coils end, because these spade connectors that go onto the coils are pretty sturdy. They're pretty tight, you know, they're a good fit. So I think it's probably not that. So it could be maybe the way that I've wired it up, or it could be the connection between the wiring and the CDI, or it could just be a faulty CDI. So there's maybe a couple of different things that could be there. I'm kind of starting to get it narrowed down a little bit. You know, I've kind of more or less eliminated the pulse generator. I've eliminated the spark plugs. I've eliminated the HT leads and the coils. So I've now got it down to kind of like the CDI and the wiring. I think what else, it could possibly be the kill switch. The kill switch might be faulty. I could try bypassing that. That's another thing I can try. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. The other thing I noticed when I took the fuel tank off was that there are two. When I took the fuel tank off, there are two hoses on the fuel pump. Obviously, there's the hose that comes in from the tank, that goes into that one there. Probably can't see very well with my hand, but it's that one there. is the in and that's the out. Okay, so when I pulled the in one off, I got a kind of like a trickle of petrol out. Okay, so what that tells me is that the fuel is getting from the tank through the filter to the fuel pump. Okay, but when I took this hose off, the one between the fuel pump and the carburetors, I didn't get any fuel out at all. So it looks a bit like possibly the fuel pump might not be running either. So you see, that's potentially two problems there. It looks like I've possibly got a fuel pump that's not running for some reason, and I'm also not getting a spark. So I've got a couple of problems there. So the fuel pump's an easy one. When I put it back together again, I'm just going to run the hose straight from the tank. Well, I was originally going to do it from the tank to the carbs, but to be honest, as I know that the fuel filter flows petrol now, probably what I'll do is I'll leave the fuel filter in there, but I'll just bypass the pump and just go straight from the tank to the carbs and do like a gravity fed system, and that'll eliminate the problem of the fuel pump. Really, the difficulty is the spark, is the ignition system. I don't basically know at this stage why my ignition system is not working. As far as I'm concerned, I've used parts that are working and I've wired them all together very carefully, so it ought to work, but it isn't. So I don't know. So I'm going to need to probably do a bit more troubleshooting, poke about in my wiring a bit. Ultimately I might have to maybe get a different CDI. Possibly it's a CDI that's faulty. Unfortunately you can't get CDIs tested. I asked the bike dealer at the same time as I got the coils and the HT leads tested, and they told me they can't test the CDI, there's no way to test it. So if it's a CDI that's faulty, the only way I can eliminate that is by buying another CDI. To be fair, that one was only £50 off eBay second hand, and I have seen them for around about the same price on eBay, so I could maybe pick up another one and give that a try. Apart from that, I don't know, I'm a bit stuck. So if anyone's got any ideas, be much appreciated. If anyone could put anything in the comments, that'd be great. Alright, well thanks for watching, and if I don't put up another video before New Year, then Happy New Year to you all.